Today, I've decided to answer a question that Bloody Assault has had for a while. Can you beat the Bloody Palace only using Stinger? Stinger is a powerful move that does quite a bit of damage normally, and when Devil triggered, it becomes even more powerful. Better still, it can be used in very rapid succession, resulting in a long-range, good damaging, powerful, staggering tool that works well in almost every situation. It works so well, in fact, that I was able to stand at Goliath's ankles, and he was powerless to defend against the destruction befalling him. With the power of Stinger, nothing could hope to stand in my way. Oh, what's this? You're floating just slightly above the ground? As if that would do anything against the might of... It missed? No, this can't be. There's no way casual hovering could be the downfall of Stinger. I just need to... harder. Still, not hitting. What am I missing? Devil Trigger. When entering Devil Trigger, not only does the damage properties of Stinger change, but so does the hitbox. By entering Devil Trigger, the hitbox of Stinger was extended up just enough that I was able to hit Artemis with it. As I thought before, nothing could stand in Stinger's way. Okay, but what if I... this isn't working either. Well, I give up. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Foolishness, Dante. Foolishness.
This is power.
While using Stinger, Dante was confined to the ground, but Virgil also has Stinger, and he can use it in the air. No matter if the enemy is grounded or flying, Virgil's Stinger could reach. It also has all of the same properties as Dante's Stinger, and then some. It knocks enemies down just the same. The move changes to a more powerful version when Virgil Devil triggers, and it can be used in very rapid succession. What sets Virgil's Stinger apart is actually the weapon Mirage Edge. After only a couple of hits from it, enemies would enter a dazed state. Even enemies that would normally retaliate after being knocked down became pacified by this dazed state, and it allowed me to continue stingering. Stinging? I got to keep using Stinger. Even better than the daze, Virgil also had access to another kind of Stinger, Deep Stinger. Deep Stinger is a move that requires the concentration gauge to be above level 2 and takes a portion of the Sin Devil trigger gauge when transformed. So long as I didn't get hit during the initial startup of the move, I was invincible during the attack itself, and I could use the move again if my concentration was still high enough. A single SDT transformation allowed me to use Deep Stinger up to 4 times in a row, so it was basically just as spammable as normal Stinger. Even without Deep Stinger, the SDT version of Stinger was taking chunks off of Goliath at a time, and the base version wasn't doing bad itself either. Even Proto-Angelos, who are notorious for stopping offense by deflecting attacks with their big sword, were powerless. Thanks to the daze, I was able to knock them down and kill them with 0 retaliation. There was hardly any risk with Stinger because any enemy that I attacked became pacified and melted. As I mentioned earlier, Virgil can use Stinger in the air. Thanks to this, Artemis was no problem. Air Stinger combined with Virgil's ability to teleport directly to an enemy meant that there was no escape. Normally, Stinger could only be used once in the air, but much like similar moves with other characters, this was able to be reset with an enemy step, or, specifically in Virgil's case, a teleport. Artemis was susceptible to the daze inflicted by Mirage Edge, and I was able to knock her down before she could even begin her scripted ascent in the middle of the arena. I started off the Cavalier fight with a Deep Stinger, but I got hit during the startup, meaning my concentration dropped and I wasn't able to continue with a second Deep Stinger. Even still, one was enough to throw him off balance. When he teleported to recharge his sword, I threw him off with normal Stingers and stunned him with a Deep Stinger after that. I decided to go all in on the Deep Stingers and used another one to chase him down. A third Deep Stinger was tearing through him when all of a sudden... The Deep Stinger parry was too much for Cavalier to handle. I was in his head and he didn't know what move I was going to use next. Spoiler, it was Stinger. I didn't just use Deep Stinger for bosses though. Stage 70 of the Bloody Palace contains 3 Furies, an annoying enemy type that constantly teleports around and usually only allows a couple of hits on them before they disappear. Apparently Deep Stinger removed their ability to teleport away because I managed to catch 2 of the 3 Furies in it and they were immediately ended. After a few hits on the final Fury, he became dazed and died just the same. Virgil decided to have a dance party on Malthus. Stinger wasn't enough to keep the bird permanently locked down, so it eventually entered its enraged phase, but I said no and introduced it to my good friend Deep Stinger. Normally, stage 83 is extremely scary because of the lizard population that migrated there after the massacre of 37. But once again, Mirage Edge made the encounter a joke. Between being dazed by the sword itself and constantly knocked down by Stinger's impact, they couldn't do anything to hurt me. Stage 88 is another Fury stage, and this one contained 2 of them. This stage is typically more lethal than stage 70 because of the Dante Must Die difficulty setting at this point. But 2 Furies right next to each other only meant one thing to Virgil: Deep Stinger. Cerberus caused me a bit of trouble. Between Virgil's lackluster ability to regenerate health and Cerberus's heads being somewhat awkward to Stinger properly, the fight started looking a bit sketchy. I used Sin Devil Trigger's version of Trick Down to quickly back away whenever he exploded during a phase change, and when I got to low health, I had to carefully plan my Stinger usages rather than simply spam them. Deep Stinger once again showed up to do work against Urizen. A single Deep Stinger was enough to break his crystal on stages 98 and 99. That is, if I ever managed to use Deep Stinger on the crystal in 99. Every time I built up enough concentration to do it, Urizen hit me and I lost all the concentration. Every single time. I ended up resorting to the rising teleport trick that I learned in my Virgil no weapons run and broke the crystal the old-fashioned way. Without his crystal, he was powerless to stop the Deep Stinger. It kept him knocked down for his entire health bar. Just before the final Deep Stinger finished him off though, he managed to raise his crystal, only to have Deep Stinger cut it down instead. Against final Urizen, I knocked him down with normal stingers and pushed him into second phase as he was getting up. For his transition, I decided to Deep Stinger, and just like the previous Urizen fight, he kept falling down so long as I kept Deep Stinging. Finally, Virgil had reached Virgil, so Virgil could stop Virgil from being Virgil when Virgil was already Virgil. I tried to show off some cool tech where a perfectly timed block with concentration level 2 would let Virgil parry back Virgil's summoned swords, but by the time I got it, Virgil had already teleported closer to Virgil. In Virgil's more aggressive phase, I had to play the fight very safe due to Virgil's limited healing capabilities. I probably could have ended the fight quicker by spamming Deep Stinger, but I was enjoying the fight with normal Stinger for the majority of it. By the end, I found the perfect time to get a slow-mo Deep Stinger finish. So, can you beat the Bloody Palace, Stinger only? Yeah, Virgil is a powerhouse with everything he uses. Stinger, Judgment Cut, Rising Dragon, everything he does simply melts enemies. I could have done the challenge with Dante by using the passive Summon Swords and Devil Trigger to shoot down the flying enemies, but I figured if I could hit them out of the sky with Stinger instead, that would be more true to the challenge. It was generally just a fun run of the Bloody Palace, and if anyone is having trouble climbing it with Virgil, here's a tip: just use Stinger. That's all from me. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.